All right, so we're live.
Fucking A. We're
Breaking
cooking,
news.
guys. Breaking news.
Bitcoin is real.
Bitcoin is
I haven't been able to check the markets yet. Is it still above 20K?
Yeah, it looks solid. Looks like we're locked in above 20K, like 28 right now. So
Dang, dude.
yeah, so this was kind of like an emergency episode. We had to get Mike Wu in here for this one. And yeah, Mike Wu was moonlighting as our first and only intern on the crypto fund that we had started. He's since been pulled away just due to his studies. He's focusing on other things at this point. But I did want to have this conversation, man, on this day with you guys, because I think Bitcoin breaking 20K is a really big deal. And there's some just basic questions that I feel like I get asked a lot that it's like, if we just put this on record, maybe it could be a resource that we pointed our friends to. And so, I mean, all jokes aside, like a big reason I did want to have Mike on, for one, he's just a super epic human and smarter than most people I meet every day. But secondly, too, he's, to be honest, he is like getting interested in cryptocurrency, but he's fairly new to it. So I just thought it would be like a good person to ask some basic questions. And like, I get really ahead of myself. I've been studying this for 5 or 6 years, so it's easy for me to go deep dive and kind of look back at somebody like, why don't you understand this? Why haven't you, been going down these deep rabbit holes like I have been? But yeah, anyway, so I want to pass it to you, Mike.
So yeah, my name is Mike. And I have a background in math. I studied mathematics and statistics in college. I didn't finish my degree, but I took most of the required classes before dropping out my final year. Yeah, and then I've been working with Jesse for a couple months at this retreat center, I guess. And cryptocurrency is something I really don't know anything about it, to be honest, besides what I've heard from Jesse and through cultural osmosis. So yeah, I'm excited to learn more. Yeah. Is there anything else I should say? Like, should I talk more about? I'm 25.
25. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just so everybody, I'm 32. How old are you, Aaron?
31.
All right, we got the spread. Because one of the things that I really was interesting about you, Mike, was like we started working together, and then you're like, oh, by the way, I'm like not really interested in making money. And I was like, okay, like some of this has to do with making money. And I also wanted to touch on that a little bit because like I'm coming at it from like a perspective of like I'm entering the world of finance and the world of adulthood with kind of like a shit system at hand. And it makes me panic. Like it doesn't make me want to trust a lot of our education system or put my money in a 401k or say that my time is worth a retirement fund when, I see people literally come to this country and make it, like that's what you came here to, to be given that opportunity. I mean, I often joke that it's like the biggest casino on the planet, but it's true. I mean, people do anything they can to get an opportunity here. And for me to sacrifice my time for a corporation to potentially have a retirement fund, I mean, it just didn't seem to add up anymore. But like for somebody who's 25, you went through, let's say, the majority of your college, you quit on your last year, but like, is there a sense of like interest in it, or do you feel very distant and it's like not something that a lot of people your age are ready to tap into?
As for like most people my age, they're not really. Most of my peers, from my social economic background, most of them aren't really into crypto or into stocks and things like that in general. I guess most of them that I know, they just they go to work for some corporation, they get their social security and their health care or whatever. I mean, they do like, Robinhood's big and like stuff like apps and stuff with that, but there's not a lot of crypto. I think people are intimidated by it because it is such a huge thing. For me personally, yeah, I mean, money's not, money's obviously it's really important, and everybody needs it, and the more you have, the more comfortable your life is, and the more you can, give to others, and a bunch of good stuff. But it's just never been something that I've kind of targeted as a goal in my life. It's more just like something that I need or something that happens on the side. But that's my, personal outlook on it. And as long as I have the money to, fuel the creative activities or the hobbies that I really want out of life, I don't see making a lot of money as super important. Obviously, I'm not saying like I'm not motivated to make money because if we get this thing going and I can put some of my skills to use and all that stuff, obviously I'll be more than excited to to really optimize what we're doing, and also like having money for future family or for my family now. Obviously very into that. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Because just,
Okay.
I mean, it was kind of like the answer that I was really surprised by. So that's why I was like, okay, I definitely want this dude on the team now. Just because that's the, I guess that's the point of this, is like, it's not about money. Like it's 100% about attaining financial freedom for people our age and younger. And financial freedom, I think, is something that like you need to define as individuals. Like, do you need to have a Rolex and a Lamborghini to be financially free? Like, in my argument, no. Like, I can actually live without a technical job financially free for, I don't know, less than 50K a year, really, and have a lot of fun making art and, buying things that I do like at the store. Like, we don't necessarily all need to have the Lamborghini and the Rolex to be like financially free. Like, have you touched on like what would define your terms as being financially free, Aaron?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I understand Mike's position. I feel like I shared that a lot, and through the course of my 20s, I really, it's not that I changed as much, but I feel like the reality of it all kind of set in. And I don't know what kind of background you had, but Mike, but my background was very much, my parents were poor when I was born, and then we grew up into upper middle class. Um, kind of thing. But I think that there was always this kind of lack, this always like poor mindset, like we're poor, we don't have a lot of money, this kind of thing. And that it was always like, work is hard, you got to go and work really hard, and it's gonna suck, but you have to do it so you can do nice things and have nice things. So I feel like I came with this sort of like, fuck money, I want to make art, like money, and then just this idea that like if I just get good enough at art, all the money shit will just figure itself out. Like your favorite musicians or artists, they don't seem to ever worry about money or how their works get made. It just seems like they get made because they're good. And so if you get good, then your shit will just get made. And I think more of my journey, and not that like I'm not to assume that you don't also think in this way, but my journey, especially and into crypto, has been around like, yeah, I don't necessarily like, I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't really want like more money than I know what to do with. I don't want to sacrifice my relationships for more money. But I do want to live comfortably. I like to travel. I like good food. I like buying cool things, art and little tech gadgets. I like video games sometimes. So it's like, I like to do lots of things, and I want to be able to
Records
get
and
those,
boxes.
Do what?
I said and boxes.
Yeah, records. Yeah, I like records and record boxes. I like the fanciest crates to put my records
Yes.
in. So, but yeah, I feel, and so I think for me, I agree with Jesse. I think that a big part of the reason why I grew up not liking money and hating it and kind of like hating all of that shit was because I saw the corruption in it and the what do you call it, the double standards and all of that, the hypocrisy in our money system. And so I agree wholeheartedly with you, Jesse, what you were saying. It's like I even remember in high school writing an essay, and I don't even know what exposure I would have had, but just like, fuck the 9 to 5. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not going to go to work for your dumb corporation. I'm going to live life on my own terms, you know? And so I've always kind of had that feeling about it. But I agree with you. I mean, I think there's a level of practicality. You know, how does, like, you know, you have to work. You can't not work. And I think blockchain and related technologies really take that, like, you know, work but also value, and they really play with those concepts, because nowadays in our system there is very little correlation between value and work, you know, like where the money goes versus what's actually worth something.
Yeah, absolutely. So many like jobs today or whatever that you just get money for, you know, because that's what the market says, but it's like not really like, are you really adding value to society? Who knows? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
But
half the Wall Street people on Wall Street, like people who are just exchanging pieces of paper of money,
yes,
you know, it's like, what, or micro traders on, like, on the stock market, what value are they really adding? It's just about like, well, we can, if we do this one thing like 5,000 times a second, you know, we can get like 1/10 of a cent each transaction. So if we do it on this scale, then it's like, yeah, we'll make, like, today we'll make $100,000, and it's like, that has nothing to do with me or anyone
yeah,
else. It's just a small, like, 1%. And those guys are making over 100K a year for doing nothing, you know?
yeah,
So it's that kind of weird shit. Um,
yeah.
but I think, especially with you having a background in math, I think it's fascinating because blockchain itself is has a lot to do with math. And I don't know, are you interested in like coding and programming at all?
I've taken 2 classes on it, but it's not something I've ever like pursued
So
really.
you're more into
But
like pure maths?
yeah, so my focus was in statistics and like
Oh, okay, yeah.
modeling. Yeah, and so I used like programs like Stata or like more like software kind of stuff. I haven't done any coding like on the other end. I've taken like 2 classes in like C++, I think, and Python,
Hmm.
but that's about it.
Okay.
Being
I
modest.
think, what were we gonna say, Jesse?
I said he's being modest.
No,
Oh.
no, no. I'm serious. I really
I'm
code.
not exactly sure what the level, and Jesse, you might be able to answer this better. I mean, maybe from a trading standpoint, statistics might be more important, but I feel like the construction of blockchain is really interesting. But I don't think it has as much to do with statistics per se, but the way that it's structured is all based on essentially solving like math problems. At least Bitcoin is. I
Mm,
think they all have different like algorithms for how they create them, but yeah, if you're into math, I feel like there's a lot of really interesting applications for it in blockchain, and especially to like innovate, you know, if you wanted to get into creating your own coin or system.
mm,
So I do want to just jump in here and say that there is certainly opportunity and like money to be made by investing in cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, and none of this should be taken as financial advice to anybody that watches this today or ever in the future. But I do think there is opportunity. But at the same token, I want to make sure that we're like coming at this with actually why Bitcoin came to the surface. Like, and I'm glad you guys brought up the stock market and the people that are pushing paper. You know, um, a lot of that doesn't really provide value to our system, and a lot of that money that we're even like pushing around at this point is completely invented. You know, like we were talking about the Federal Reserve Bank the other day, and like this is just like a really good concept that most Americans just aren't aware that the Federal Reserve that prints all that money is a private business. Like they're not part of
Yeah.
our government. They're completely part of a world banking sector that has like central banking systems literally set up in every single country, except for I think the last one might be And they might even have Iraq now, but like, go figure, Iraq is like one of the last places that will allow a central bank, and look how much interest we have there. That monetary system has completely enslaved the planet Earth, and Bitcoin, I think, is we have enough monkeys move towards saying, I'd rather have these than those. We're going to have a more honest, closed loop system, being that it's programmed to, like, you would like this as a mathematician. Like, it's really, really beautifully written. The code is like only 21 million Bitcoins are in existence. There'll never be any more, never be any less. And it's a process of mining, and each person, as you're doing transactions with Bitcoin, you're chipping away at blocks and helping people. You're helping the network not only function, but with that, it will start to introduce more and more of the currency. It hasn't been 100% mined yet. I mean, it's coming up in the next. I'd have to look exactly, but the next 10 years or something, everything will be mined. But it's a closed loop system of 21 million Bitcoins. And the intention is that, like, you can't just print more of those. Like, everybody in our network has to agree that Mike is showing up with a Bitcoin and this is a real one. So it's like, right now you could go to some country and you could have like some of the best counterfeited $100 bills, and people will love you there. They'll accept you. And it's literally just fucking fake paper. Like, that's how brainwashed the planet is. It makes us use our devices to authenticate every single transaction. And then therefore the people that are actually providing a good service and a good value are the ones that rise. And we're still going to see people, in my opinion, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk come to the top, but it's because they're providing a good service and they're a product that we actually like. And by switching it over to this system, I mean, there's a lot more opportunities for discussion to say, hey, do you have to be like, I forget Jeff Bezos's net worth, but we were looking it up the other day. I was like, he could give everybody in America $1 billion. Like, listen to me. He could give everybody $1 billion.
Well, he could do that if he liquidated his assets.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the issue, though.
And he would have over $100 billion left, or I mean.
But yeah, I feel like it's just to be clear, that's usually like,
right.
Yeah, right. It makes it seem like he's like just got $300 billion sitting in his bank account, but it's actually tied up in the fact that Amazon has like the IP, so much amazing IP, But if he did liquidate all of his assets, I'm sure his net worth would drop immediately, because why the fuck is Jeff Bezos liquidating all of his assets?
For sure,
probably could cause a crash. Which is
you can see the mismatch in the balance here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's people that make, I don't know, like 150, maybe it's 175K or something a year, and they're considered like the top 1%, along with the guys that are making $1 billion. Like, that's an issue right there. There is no more middle class at all. And like Bitcoin and stuff, I mean, a lot of it is, man, it can sound very like, what's the word I was looking for the other day? Like idealistic, like it's like
utopian
kind of. But in my opinion, there is certainly a fairness to it that I don't see happening in the euro or the US dollar. And then on top of that, it's also been like, it's worked for me really well. Like I've never actually been like sorry I got into cryptocurrencies or like, I'm always motivated to talk about them because I really think that they are a potential to like set us free on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I feel like the big thing with Bitcoin is just that, and all crypto for the most part, is that it's decentralized. So there's no one person or organization that can control it. Like, Bitcoin is only worth as much as it is because everyone has collectively agreed that it is worth that much, and so like if we all of a sudden tomorrow decided it's worth nothing, like you can't just decide it's worth zero and completely change the market, or decide that it's worth $50,000 tomorrow and change it. It's like you have to convince a high enough percentage of the market that it's worth that much in order to do it. And so I think it's like that transparency, which is sorely lacking in modern day finance. It's like, and especially like the stock market and stuff, a lot of that shit is made deliberately obscure to screw over the average person who might want to get into it. They give you all these big words and use all these fancy terms and all of these things to basically convince you that you are nothing and you are not smart and you have to be an expert to even do any little bit. And then they hide it all from you. Like they distort statistics and facts to basically say we game the market. But I think what's missing is that, like, with blockchain, no one can do that. You can go and you can be like, oh, well, let's see your record. Like every transaction, what's your ID? Oh, okay, cool. We can see that everything you're saying is false or it's true, and it can be based on that. It's putting trust in the realm of code, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, the decentralization aspect really is interesting to me too, because it's like, well, you know, like it feels like there's not really much of a monetary policy or anything like that. Like you can't really do anything like the government does with printing more bills or with setting interest rates and stuff like that, where it's a, you know, totally centralized, or not totally centralized, but mainly centralized system, and where everybody else has to kind of adjust. The economy adjusts to, you know, these policies the government sets. But it seems like with Bitcoin that yeah, it's more democratic in a sense, with the economy, and how, you know, the future of the economy kind of is in the hands of everybody, not just lawmakers and stuff like that, which is cool. I mean, I don't know the long-term consequences, but I like the principle at least.
So Jesse, I'm a little curious. So in the crypto space, there are people who are, I think there's kind of two classes. There are some who would call themselves Bitcoin maximalists, and then there are some, I don't know what you call the other. They're just the non-Bitcoin maximalists. So, and I guess the way I would describe it, and you could probably give me more of a clear definition, but Bitcoin maximalists believe there's the only real important coin in the crypto space is Bitcoin, and that everything else is just sort of a scam, and it'll all eventually, once all is said and done, boil down to just Bitcoin, or some other maybe more legitimate government sponsored coin. And then I guess there's everyone else who believes that there's more space in the crypto organization, more room for different currencies or applications built on the blockchain. I'm kind of curious. I just want to, like, I feel like I know where you are, but I want to get like your perspective on that. Where do you sit, and what do you think about that whole dichotomy?
Well, for sure. I kind of disagree with your definition of a Bitcoin maximalist, though.
Okay.
I myself am one, and I, like, when I was newer to the space, I also defined Bitcoin maximalists as like how you describe them. Like they're only going to buy Bitcoin. They don't trade any other coin. But to me, the true definition of that is like you've been in the space long enough that you're actually now, when you're trading and you're managing your portfolio, you're still looking at it in US dollars or, you know, Australian dollars, whatever country you're in. But instead of like, okay, I made $2,000 today, you're like, oh, wait, this percentage on the Bitcoin ratio went up. I want more Bitcoins. Like I'm just stacking more of these. And it's called like that's what I think is our biggest addiction that we have to get over as like a collective. It's like we're addicted to the dollar. And like I'm trying to get you guys addicted to Bitcoins or Ether. And so Bitcoin, for example, it's great. It is the gold standard. Like we are so grateful for it, but it's an old code, and it's at this point it's like a collector's item. Like the fact that like you can own any Bitcoin right now, that's not going to be possible in 50 years. Like nobody will allow that that has like any power in this world. It's going to be like an actual gold asset that you can't create any more of. And then so there's Ethereum, and then Ethereum functions like the app store. So it allows like all of these other tokens and apps to basically run on its network. So it's a much superior blockchain with its capabilities to Bitcoin. But like Bitcoin is like your iPhone, and then your iPhone's like not that cool if you don't have the app store to download all the fucking cool apps. So it's like, for example, yesterday, and Mike can speak to this, but I've been parading around about this asset called Bancor Network, or the BNT coin, and I've been like hyping it up, hyping it up, hyping it up, and it finally got listed on Coinbase yesterday. So it gets to Coinbase Pro, and like my phone's going off. I'm like texting, all the people I'm tapped into this world. And I'm like, come on, come on, come on. It's still gonna, go up and up and up. So anyway, when I realized my gains from that trade, instead of going like, hey, I made 50% on this investment today, I'm gonna cash it out to dollar, cashing it out to Bitcoin. And that's what I think defines a Bitcoin maximalist. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And
so you'd think a Bitcoin maximalist uses their base currency as Bitcoin versus whatever their home currency is?
And I would encourage anybody that gets into this to try to start doing that. Like, it took me a long time to realize, oh, wait, I want to convert everything back to Ethereum or to Bitcoin, because in the long term, the dollar is going down. In the long term, Bitcoin and Ethereum are constantly going up. Why would you put your things in money in things that's just constantly going down? I mean, we saw the dollar break against the yen like at a crucial point yesterday, which in my opinion is why Bitcoin broke 20K today. But with unemployment, with COVID, with all these things that we do need to do just because of the situation that we're in, the dollar's value, I think, is going to go down really fast, and these assets are going to rise because of it.
Interesting. So what is the value, I guess, of holding Ether? Do you think eventually Bitcoin is going to be relegated to, just a really fancy collector's item, but the real workhorse is going to be something like Ether?
I mean, I'm curious to even get Daniel on here, because there's a lot of scaling problems with Ethereum network. Ethereum network is like, it could be argued that it's the DVD platform that's going to be obsolete pretty soon, because there's, Tezos is another platform that you can run like tons and tons of apps on, and like the transaction speed's way faster, and it can handle it's a more superior network. So as these codes start to like crack out into like this, the collective conscious, more and more people are going to realize how to write and improve them. But we did have to start somewhere. So it could be ETH. I mean, Ethereum right now is trading over $600, which is insane. It was less than 100 in the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I was doing some research, and it seems like, there are there's another one that starts with a C. The name is escaping me right now, but a lot of the hype around it was like, it's going to replace Ethereum. But I guess this goes back to what you were saying, is like, and I've heard this with a lot of people who, more readily define themselves as, say, a Bitcoin maximalist or whatever, is like, because it's the oldest one, it has the most amount of energy put into it. Like, the smartest people have been thinking about it for the longest amount of time. So regardless of what everything else does in the space, Bitcoin is always going to be like just there, because we can all agree on it. Like Ethereum, maybe we can disagree. There might be people who are like, it's not going to last. Tezos is going to overtake it, or this is going to overtake it. But you can't really argue that, like, at the end of the day, it's all going to come back to Bitcoin, because we all trust it. We all know it. And it's kind of just there. Would you say that? Kind of like gold, how we all come back to gold. Everyone in the world recognizes gold. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And you can look at Ethereum's all-time high price. I think it's around like 1379 or something like that. And look at it today. It's like, it's at 600. So it's at, half of its all-time high. Bitcoin is breaking its all-time high. Last time Bitcoin was breaking its all-time high, Ethereum was like 1375. So you're right. Like, all these networks have come up. They're newer assets. There's more money that's flown out of the initial, investment to Ethereum, since it's allowed for all these other projects to come up, and like, it's gonna become obsolete for sure. For sure. It's not even a matter of like if, it's when. And Vitalik is like the Jesus. Like, we all fucking love this dude, and he knows what he did. Like, you can already see, like, he knows that his scalability is not going to happen, but he's aware that he cracked open this door that's like, he's written in the history books, and he's not a villain. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Like,
He kind of seems like a villain. Like you don't really know what's going on behind his cold gray eyes. For those who aren't aware, I don't know if you know, Mike, who Vitalik Buterin is. I think that's how his name is pronounced. He's the creator of Ethereum. And I don't know. Is he like a lone wolf, like lone creator, coded it all, like Satoshi?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Satoshi is still
I
anonymous,
mean,
so it's argued.
we don't know who it is or how many people, but
Yeah, I feel like it was a team of people for that one, but yeah, he just flies solo. I mean, he's really, really bright, dude.
dang.
Um,
I think he's our age too, I think. Or he might be younger. Might be
yeah,
your
he might
age,
be.
Mike. Like 28 or 29.
Yeah,
Wow, that's wild.
yeah, he's a
Yeah,
super
he's
genius.
weird.
If anybody wants to know what a live super genius looks like, he's probably wearing a unicorn shirt with a rainbow on it.
So would you say that like Bitcoin now, I mean, I was listening to something and it was this guy was like, all right, you know, and this was, I didn't realize it was going to be this soon. But he was saying like once Bitcoin crosses 20K, you no longer can say you got in early. But would you say it's still worth it to like put some of your savings into Bitcoin, you know, and just kind of like, I mean, I guess you always, when you cash out at the end of a day of trading, you cash out into Bitcoin, right? That's sort of what you do. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be like, yeah, buy Bitcoin as it's breaking all-time highs, but I at this point I think there's still definitely opportunity for growth there, and a lot of people that I know that get into the space, they want to have like the quick, successful like turnaround, like they want to make money right then and there,
Mhm.
and that's like probably the most dangerous part of this is like you can occasionally do that, but like that's again like that's not the point. And if anything, that's like a way for people to distract you and to actually try to get your bitcoins away from you,
Mm.
because there's people out there that are like really, really serious players out here that, you know, I mean, it's cool to say, oh, I'm financially free, but like some of these guys are really, really on a next level, like buying yachts capability free, you know.
So free.
So free.
So free.
Go anywhere in the world. So that, what do you say to the, what about the hodl thing? You know, are you familiar with that, Mike? Do you know about hodl? I can explain and then I'll let Jesse correct my where I'm wrong. There was like a thing where it's spelled HODL from a typo from some like forum back in the early days of Bitcoin. Some person was ranting about like Bitcoin and they're like, no, fuck y'all, I'm gonna hold. Like what they meant to say was, I'm holding my Bitcoin and I'm gonna hold on to it and never let go. And so people just kind of, it turned into a meme. And now people, whenever they talk about it, I guess there's two strategies, because people talk about Bitcoin essentially replacing like whatever currency you use on a day-to-day basis. Like, oh, you know, this bread loaf costs, you know, 0.5 Bitcoin or whatever, versus you treating it as an investment, you know, like gold is now. Like, oh no, I have, you know, $10,000 in gold just sitting around as savings. So yeah, and so I'm curious what you think about that strategy and stuff, Jesse.
I think the funny thing about the hodl strategy is like it is the best strategy, and literally like nobody listens to it. Like if I could just, every single friend I get into it, I'm like, hey, just buy this Bitcoin right now and don't touch it for a year. Every single person starts to see that go up, the value, and they're like, I bet I know a little bit more. I could probably fuck with it, you know, and like alter it to like work towards my advantage. And I mean, it's a human nature. I did it too. Like the last bull run, like I you know, I had really put all the hard earned money I had into crypto, and you know, I'd seen it go up. I had made 2 or 3 times my money, was really excited about it, and put it into some coin I didn't know anything about and lost everything. And so it's like the amount of people that I know still to this day that are like, I'm doing this and I'm buying this coin. I'm like, okay, Have you been to their website? Can you explain what this coin does to me? Like, if you can't, don't fucking buy that shit.
Mhm.
Buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin, and forget about it. Like, you're not a good trader. I wasn't either. Like, we're not good at shit when we first get it, you know? Like, it takes me a really long time to get good at things. It took me 6 years to make regular profits from this, you know? So it's not to say that, like, just, I mean, set it and forget it is the best way. Or, um, you know, you could obviously like give it to somebody. There's going to be a lot of people building crypto funds and trading, you know, ETFs and things like that coming in the near future. You could have somebody manage it for you. But the thing I don't like about that is like I've talked to like two girlfriends of mine, and I want to speak to this about the feminine presence with Bitcoin, and both of them have been like, oh, I can't understand it. Or the other thing that got me was a girlfriend of mine was like, well, my ex-boyfriend used to manage it for me, and we broke up and we ended up selling it at a loss. And like, this triggered me because at one point I was managing Bitcoin for my girlfriend, right? And it went up and we had made some money, and she ended up going on a trip with that money. Like, you know, it worked in her favor. And then
Mhm.
if I still speak to her now, she's like, I don't understand Bitcoin. You were doing all that for me, you know? And it's like, fuck, this is against what we're trying to do here. We want to be teaching other people how to manage their finance and set themselves free financially for themselves. Like I said, it doesn't, I don't need the Lamborghini. Like, who knows what this lady needs? She doesn't probably need a Lamborghini either, though, if you ask me, you know,
Mhm.
just for her to be a rock star yoga teacher. Like, but you know, people are missing that level of support right now, and I feel like this is our opportunity to like switch it up.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, and I do think that in the short term, and I think that's what's really exciting about some of the new decentralized apps is that I think they're going to really simplify things, which is what we've been waiting for since Bitcoin really burst. But yeah, it is complicated even to explain what blockchain is, and how it works. It's like it takes a while and you got to wrap your mind around it and like how it's all hedged and designed. Even though it's really beautiful, it does take some like higher level thinking. But I think what we're really waiting for, it's like when I explain some of the decentralized apps that are coming out, it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, how they're, like for instance, there's Compound, which I'm really excited about. And Compound is basically, um, they are essentially a decentralized bank. It's like, imagine you want a loan. Well, you go to a bank to get a loan, right? Well, they look at your credit score, they look at you. There's all sorts of places they could be like, this guy's black. He's probably, he doesn't look like he's got a lot of money. I don't know about his job. Da da da. We're going to deny his loan. Like when you go onto Compound, none of that is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all that is like an algorithm. You basically put some collateral, and then you get to loan a certain amount and you pay it back at a certain fixed rate that's dependent, and you can look at it. There's no person changing the rate. It's based on an algorithm. Like the more demand there is for this coin, the higher that you're trying to borrow, the higher it goes. But basically it's just like, oh yeah, and then you want to lend money. And so it's like, oh, I'm just sitting on some Bitcoin. Well, you can stake that and put it in a pool that people can then borrow from, and then you'll actually gain interest on that whatever asset, that coin or whatever that you have in the pool. So it's like you can have your money working for you the same way that it's supposed to do it in a bank, except you're getting like, several percentage points on that money every year, versus at a bank you're getting like a fraction of 1%. So it's like, oh, this is that. See that when I explain that to people, that's like, oh, that makes total sense. So I think when those apps really start popping out, I think it's going to overtake everything. And it's like, you don't have to understand blockchain, to get it. All you have to do is just realize, like, exchange your dollars for this coin on this fancy little app, and then you can choose whatever you want to do with those coins. Exchange it for a different coin, put them in a thing, stake them so people can borrow them or borrow against them or whatever, or use them, and then or exchange them for your dollars or whatever.
I want to loop in Mike a second here, because like like let's just go from the super basic. Did that make a lot of sense to you, Mike? What Aaron shared about
Um, sorry about what?
what he just shared about compound, like how he described it.
Um, not really. I guess I don't really know. But you kind of lost me after the hold L part, like, because like that kind of made sense to me, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't really understand the compound thing. Like, I mean, um, hmm, like,
Well, you know how there's
yeah,
like, you know how there are like online banks.
yeah. So, I got that part.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's basically just a imagine like usually with like when you
it's
take out a loan, you use collateral, right? You would put,
yeah.
so instead of collateral, you would use some sort of cryptocurrency.
Oh, okay.
And so that cryptocurrency, you could put it in and basically get instant approval for any loan that you might
Uh,
want because
Yeah. Well, is compound like a organization or like a bank
it's
or
an app. It's what they
it's an
call a decentralized app.
but like the app is tied to like
So
a
they
group of people or something or
so the app is controlled by
mm-hmm.
yeah, a coin. So you would buy a certain coin,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you own that coin, you basically get a vote. So it's in your best interest if you care about how this thing is governed, you buy a coin and then you can vote on it.
Okay.
Hmm. And
So yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, a lot of the systems, like a lot of the blockchain, like kind of decentralized apps, are run on that. They use sophisticated like different voting methods. So if you buy one of their coins, you can then vote on the behaviors of that app.
Okay. And then you put up a coin for collateral and then you get to borrow
Yep.
from but who are you borrowing from? Like other people on the market on the app basically?
Hmm.
So it's like okay, so it's like anybody.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
the
Really.
app
I
is going
see, I
to
see.
connect
Oh,
you
okay.
to an
Yeah,
individual
yeah.
that can make the loan happen for you.
Ah, okay.
So the app is acting like Uber basically, and it's like I want a loan, and it's like this guy's got your loan, and then
Mm-hmm.
it connects you. But like put up collateral, like for me, right? I don't have very much US cash right now, but I got a bunch of crypto. If I want to stack that into like to make a sizable loan, people will definitely take me seriously and give me cash happily for that. Whereas like, credit score, what's your job history, it's fucking COVID, so we're not,
Mm-hmm.
or it is COVID and we're lending you way too much more money than you know what to do with, like
Hmm.
it
Right.
all of these things swing both ways,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole method is like really, really good. But like I said, I just don't think anybody really holds to that too tightly once they see that, oh, my money is going up. Like want to start messing with this. I think that's a pretty normal instinct for people. But I was curious, Mike, like, do you have a Coinbase wallet or have you set up an account with them?
Yes, I have a Coinbase wallet. I think I need to. I can't remember if I linked my bank account or not, but I have to do that. I think. Um, but I have it downloaded and I made a username and password and stuff. So
For Coinbase?
yes, for Coinbase.
All right. So why don't we do a transaction live? That'd be cool.
Oh shit.
Fuck. Let's give Mike some Bitcoins. Might have to be Ether. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. I don't know the difference.
All right.
But
So
really,
you actually have the Coinbase app up, like the Coinbase app on your phone. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So
And by the way, Coinbase is awesome. I mean, in my small experience, because it's got like they'll pay you to learn about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
They like that's how I learned about Compound. They basically gave me free Compound to like watch some videos and take a short quiz. And so it's like, oh, here's what this thing does, and here's some compound. Learn about it, use it.
So when you open that app, Mike, you got
Mm-hmm.
the home screen. It's like home portfolio.
Yeah.
So click portfolio.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Sorry,
All right.
one sec. Okay. Portfolio.
There's a bunch of shit coming up that you've got like different wallets
Yeah.
for. All right. So now I want you to go down and click Ethereum. Okay, and it should take you to your Ethereum wallet unless you bought.
Are you here? Okay, I don't know if you can see that.
What does it say?
It's buy Bitcoin.
Oh no, go to portfolio.
Yeah, it's a little on the bottom left of the app for you. Is it like a little tab here? Oh, I don't have that. Let's see. Maybe I have to link my bank account first. I can do that real quick.
All right. So
I'm not sure.
You don't have portfolio up on your app?
Are you on prices?
No, mine says home, portfolio, and then trade.
Oh wait, do you have are you using the wallet app or the Coinbase app? Because there are two different ones.
That's true.
If it's called just wallet,
it just says Coinbase. It doesn't say wallet on there.
Okay. So that's
Do I need to get the wallet?
Are you using the wallet?
No. You should be fine with just the Coinbase app.
Oh, okay. Not sure. Let me see.
This is good though. It's like this is kind of like this is how it is with crypto. This is how early it is. So when you say is it still a good buy, I'm like I think it is. Look how easy it is for us to Venmo each other money. You know, like they're about to get it that seamless. I mean, we're probably going to see that in 2021 to 2022. But
I also want to say like and I'm curious what you're thinking. So it's like the last time, Bitcoin reached an all-time high. It shot up and then it did experience a bit of a crash. And I feel like, do you feel like, I feel like it's ultimately, Bitcoin's going up, but like the market always kind of has this like up and then it'll go down and then it'll go up again. And so would you say that like, it's a good idea to get in on the hype now, or maybe wait till Bitcoin hits a peak and then starts coming down again and then try to buy some Bitcoin and wait for it to, and then just sit on that?
I mean, super good questions for sure. Again, like as somebody who's been in the space for 6 years, checking prices, charts, studying technical analysis every day, I don't know the bottom and I don't know the top. Like I've just given up on that. Like, and I don't think it's smart for people to wait for a bottom just to get into some new asset that they like. What do they know about the price and overvalued? I mean, is it taking a risk to buy it at all-time high? Yeah, but dude, it could also easily just go from 23 to 46K. Like that's just as likely as it is from when it was 5,000 earlier this year to 10,000. And from 10,000 to 20,000, like as value starts to get compounded, like this thing is going to explode over 100,000, potentially $1 million. So yes, are you going to buy it today and maybe it's down to 19,000 for a couple days next week? Potentially, but I'm saying like just as more of the monkeys on this planet start to connect the dots, like you'll realize how fast that becomes $1 million Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin was 5K earlier this year.
It was as low as 3,900.
Dang.
Yeah.
Shit. So if you would have bought Bitcoin in January 1st, I don't know if it was higher then, but like if you would have bought it at that point and just sat on it, you would see.
I have good friends that I was calling during the pandemic as the start. Everything was nuts. And I was like, dude, you don't have any Bitcoins, buy them now. And I think he was getting them for like 6,000 or something. I forget. You'd have to ask him, but
damn,
he's been pretty stoked about his turnover in like just a short period of time. But I mean, that's somebody who got really lucky, doesn't really understand the space that great, tells all his friends that he's making all this money. And it's like, well, dude, you did have a good connection that was like, gave you a really good hint of when to buy, so, Is when you're seeing your wallet and your portfolio improve, it's easy to feel like the Wolf of Wall Street all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah.
What's up with it, Mike? You got the portfolio?
No, I can't find it. So I blinked my credit card because my bank account, they need like 5 days to verify it or something. They need to send me like a small deposit. But I have my I think I
You know
might
what?
need it.
Here's let's do this. Let's do this instead.
Yeah.
There's
Mm-hmm.
another app called MetaMask.
Uh-huh.
And if
Yeah.
you don't have this one either, Aaron, why don't you get this one too? I'll send you guys both Ether today.
Yeah, I got MetaMask. That's
You have
actually
MetaMask?
the one I'm trying to figure out. I haven't been able to figure out MetaMask yet.
Well, let's hang on MetaMask because I mean Coinbase is easy and it's like, you know, somebody can walk you. It basically walks you through it, and it does take a time to get verified, but you don't need to with MetaMask. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even need to link it to your bank account. You can just start trading crypto.
So pull up your MetaMask, Aaron.
Cool.
All right, so
What? Oh, this is what it was trying to. Oh yeah, I was trying to get it on my phone, and it's like doing some dumb shit with the seed phrase. Oh yeah.
Okay, do you have
that's
it
what
on
I
your
was doing.
laptop?
Yeah, I got it on my laptop.
All right. Yeah, the seed phrase is super important.
Well, it was like it's saying import from seed phrase, and then I did, and then it wouldn't and then it would be like enter new password when I'm like I already have a password, and then
Right, because you have to set a new one for a new device. Very
I see.
device-based for security reasons.
That makes sense.
But
So, all right, MetaMask.
yeah. Like, see, this is what I'm saying. I just got another text from somebody like, "Do you think Bitcoin's going to keep going up, or should I dump it?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking know." Like ask the fucking Winklevoss twins. They own most of it. They're the ones who dump it. All them.
Should I dump it? That's a dumb question. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, God love them. I mean, you know, much love.
Yeah, I kind of almost get the feeling that like, you know, that Bitcoin trading in terms of like make it, you know, day trading Bitcoin is like it's really difficult because of the way it is.
It's like you don't just jump into day trading on Wall Street.
Yeah, that's true.
Super hard, you know, like. And if you do, start with, you know, $100, not like, you know, 2,000 because you're trying to make it this year, you know. It's
yeah. Cool. I got my MetaMask up here.
All right. How's Mike doing? You got MetaMask going, Mike? Oh, he's muted.
Okay.
I just got it downloaded.
Sweet. All right. So are you looking at it on your mobile, Mike, or are you on computer?
I'm on my mobile. Should I go on the computer?
Nope.
Okay, I have the app. I can use Coinbase, but I just need a couple of days to verify the account. I think I have to make a deposit first before I can see all the, or I have to buy things first to see all the coins listed. So I can see it on the market, but I just can't buy any of it because I don't have my bank account linked.
Right. I don't know if I fully believe you, and maybe there's like a learning curve that I didn't explain properly, but you have MetaMask up on your phone, right?
Yeah.
And so you should be like account one. Is there any tokens that you can?
I have to make a wallet first.
Okay, so yeah, create that wallet, and then Aaron, I want you to do it on your laptop, if possible. So then we did it on mobile and laptop.
Okay. It's saying I'm not connected. Current extension page. Oh, because it's a site. Okay, yeah, never mind.
But you're logged into your MetaMask account, yeah?
Yeah, I have my okay, so that's the hardware wallet. Okay. My accounts, account one, info help settings. Yeah.
Okay. So go to account one, pull that up, and then when you see on your browser, click buy.
Okay. Should we screen share? Should we do a screen share? Would that be helpful?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't.
Oh,
I
there's
don't
like
want to just because I
info.
have like people's assets pulled up on my screen, so that's kind of.
Yeah, here. I'm trying to think if there's enough info on here that I could get hacked. Probably.
No.
I don't know. Let's not do it.
Yeah, no. You'll be fine. If
Okay.
anything, you're just gonna get ETH from somebody that listens to this and it's like, I've got some extra. I want to tip this kid.
I'm gonna take this guy's like 2 ETH or whatever, 0.444
Hey,
ETH or
all
whatever.
donations welcome always on the Pirate.
Yeah,
Okay,
we said Bitcoin.
So you pulled up your MetaMask, right? You got account 1 pulled up.
Yeah. So I just clicked on buy, and it's buy ETH with wire or directly deposit Ether.
So scroll down to the second one and view account directly deposit with Ether.
Okay.
And then you're going to see your wallet address come up right there with the QR code.
Uh-huh.
So then copy that QR code. I mean, not the QR code, the address. My bad.
Cool. Copied.
And throw that in our chat right here.
Okay, chat.
And let's see. Can you see that, Mike? Can you see what this is the kind of code we're looking for?
Okay, I'm doing this thing. It says, should I skip this part? It says, write down your seed phrase.
No, definitely do not ever skip that part. Always write that down. Because if for any reason you get locked out of your account, this is the way that you can access it. And it's like 14 words that are randomly generated. That it's just a really hard algorithm to better than a password. All right. Both you guys are getting some ETH today, son.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I actually
jumping on the last minute call. I mean, Bitcoin breaking 20K is a really big deal. And I just think we're still like forerunners in this game. So thanks again.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna probably buy some Bitcoin today. I took out like $100 from my investment account. I have like a Betterment account. I'm like, I'm gonna start with 100 of that. I think I had like 200 in it. I'm like, I'm gonna start with 100, see how I feel once I put it in. Then I'll take the rest of it and just slowly move to doing all that. Yeah, I was also gonna buy some ETH because I wanted to mess around with Compound, and I needed to pay the gas fees, but I didn't have any Ether.
Right. Yeah. If you want to start getting into trading, it's always good to have Ether on hand because that's going to help you pay for gas, basically, which in layman's terms pays for your transactions on the Ethereum network. I'm trying to figure out how much to send this guy. All right. That sounds pretty good. All right. Sorry, Aaron. It'll be more next time.
You're good.
All right. So what's up with Mike? He's still working on his seed phrase.
Yes.
So that's another. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you're like, should I write this down? Because you always should when creating a wallet. That's the only way to get into it if you lose access to it. And the other reason I'm glad you brought that up is like security is key, and it is the internet currency. So like, there's a lot of bullies on the internet. Getting hacked, getting phished is a real serious problem. It does happen, but that nothing's going to ask you to re-enter your seed phrase unless you're like truly locked out of your funds. Like, don't let some website tell you that it needs that, because it's not true. How's the wallet going?
Mike? Nope. Me?
Yeah.
You mean the Coinbase one?
No, you're setting up your MetaMask one.
Oh yeah, but well, I just have to do my seed phrase, and then I guess I'm not sure what to do after that. But
yeah, and then
I don't have anything on there right now. Yeah,
right, I'm gonna send you some.
Cool. But yeah, it's looking good, I think.
Okay.
Oh look, there it is.
Whoa.
Hell yeah, 0.02 ETH. That was fast.
Right. Sweet.
I thought it takes like 10 minutes for Ether, but that was good.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The network actually is not congested right now. It's awesome.
Everyone's buying Bitcoin.
I know. I know. I'm definitely, but you can also and you can also buy wrapped Bitcoin if you're stuck in ETH. But that's maybe for like more of an intermediate crypto holder.
Yeah, and that's also another thing is like a lot of people in the space really, really believe in Bitcoin and the long-term value of it. And I think that's something too to remember, like depending on, whether it's going up or it's going down, like it's probably like if it's going down, it's probably a good idea, at least to a lot of people that I've been following online, um, to buy Bitcoin anyways. Because buying it, if it's going down and you hit it at a low, that's essentially the classic investing move, right? Buy low, sell high, and so it's like you're getting Bitcoin for cheaper when you buy it. Because that, I mean, you can take that with however many grains of salt you want, but a lot of the people who are experts in trading seem to believe that it's like, at least this is what I'm getting from them, that Bitcoin will always have value as long as cryptocurrencies are a thing. And so it's like, even if it does start going down, don't panic, because that's just the natural flow. And that, like, a lot of people I think are waiting, they're like, Bitcoin hits a high and then it's going to start dipping. And then that's the time when altcoins are going to start going up. And so it's like traders are kind of like, I've heard a lot of people talking about that, going like, okay, cool. So my plan is get a bunch of Bitcoin, wait till it hits a point, and then get into altcoins, sell a bunch of my Bitcoin, get into altcoins. And then when Bitcoin starts dropping, then that's when the altcoins usually get valued higher, is what a lot of people are saying. And I guess I'm just thinking out loud now, but like, yeah, that was just kind of something, is like, if you get into Bitcoin, at least my plan, we'll see how it goes, is like, I'm not going to freak out if Bitcoin goes up and then tomorrow it dips or something like that. Or it's like, it's kind of like doing the hold it and forget, set it and forget it to a certain extent.
I mean, it is definitely the thing about any market is it's gonna swing both ways. Every single
Yeah.
market does. If you're talking about trading it and you're getting good at it, obviously you want to buy when it's bleeding, it's going down. You want to sell when it's going up. That is a lot easier said than done. A lot of people are very emotionally attached to their finances. I mean, rightfully so. It has a lot to do with how you live your life. Being somebody who's been like homeless as fuck before, like I could actually be like, you know what, it's all good even when I have no money. Like it's still all good. So that has been part of my story and why I am so interested in finances. Like, why are people so obsessed with this? I don't think it matters as much as we says it does about our quality of life. Um, but definitely like putting some aside is kind of like what I would encourage people to do. And again, I don't think it's something that anybody ever listens to that type of advice. But like, yeah, as far as it going down and like worrying about any of that, it's really not up to like the newer investor. It has a lot more to do with it's due to the whales. It's due to the people that hold the most of it. They can manipulate the price, and that's the exchanges. That's the really, really early investors. I mean, I was buying Bitcoin at $12 and was like parading around in 2013. Like, you're not buying this, like, do you know what this is? And people told me I was crazy, and it hit 600 that year. And my father told me
You
I was
paid
crazy,
you
and
paid
now my father,
$12 for
yeah, my father now thinks that Bitcoin is like, that's his main jam that he invests in only. And it's like, we just got him to buy BNT yesterday. And I was like, dude, I've been promoting BNT since the summer, and it got listed on Coinbase, and you decide to buy it today. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, it takes people what it takes for them to start to get into it. Like there was a need, like we wanted to buy drugs on the internet as kids. That's why we needed to figure out Bitcoin. Like, so once there's that need filled, that's how people learn, But Mike texted me some, look at this. Funny. All right. Mike, you don't want to put it in the chat? I bet Zuckerberg is gonna like that last comment. Gonna be like, get his IP address. Find him
Libra
on
is the only
Silk
currency you
Road.
can talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Looks like Michael put it in the chat.
Sweet. Okay. But no, I don't think that. I don't think it's something that is meant to be taken lightly. I do think it's something that like requires people getting educated on, and like that to me means interacting with it in the way that you interact with shit. Like nobody explained fucking Facebook to you. Like you figured out how to work Facebook, you know? So all we're saying is like, hey, this is the new thing. This is like buying Amazon or Apple back then. Fucking figure it out, you know? Like the sooner the better. The sooner you do, the faster you'll realize how valuable this is and why people, you know, that you're considering your friends and people that, you know, are successful are putting so much of their attention onto it. So like by putting like ETH in Mike's hands today, right? Like he's got no cryptocurrency at all. He's going to start looking at this app and be like, oh, hey, that was, you know, 12, 13 bucks that one day. Now it's 15. Now my interest is, you know, he's starting to engage in it in his own way. And like there's the browser Brave that we both use. Aaron loves Brave. I love Brave. Do you use Brave, Mike?
No, but I think you mentioned it before. It sounds familiar.
Can you speak to that at all, Aaron, while I do this next transfer?
Oh yeah, Brave browser. Yeah, Brave browser is awesome. To me as a creative, like, you know, as an artist, Brave has the model that I'm most excited about, because I feel like especially anyone who may have, you know, Social Dilemma has just come out this year, and I'm so grateful it came out this year, because a lot of people have been really worried about social media and stuff. And I think the fact that all of the biggest companies in the internet are run on advertising, it really creates a toxic ecosystem, and it doesn't really pay the people who are creating the most value, which you know, say like on YouTube or Facebook or something like that. Those are the people who are posting it, who are creating content, writing letters, liking things, sharing things. Like all of that is work. And the thing is, we don't realize that it's work, but we're doing that for free, you know. And especially like Instagram, like you're taking all these photos and you're creating all this content, and a lot of people work really hard on the content they make. And it's like you gotta, it's so hard to get any money from it. You have to basically get a ton of followers and then start making deals with advertisers. But what's really cool about Brave is that it has a token that is built into it, and they call it like a basic attention token. And so the idea is that Brave automatically blocks all advertisements as much as it can, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's got an ad blocker built in. And then the only way you get ads, you actually get paid to view the ad, because it's like this ad is taking your time. And so it's weird that, like, you know, an advertiser would pay Google to market to you. And I guess it kind of makes sense. It's the classic like newspaper way. But basically, it blocks all ads, and then you can tell Brave browser how many ads you want to see. You know, you can be like, I don't want to see any ads, or show me like up to like I think 9 an hour or something is the max. And then you get a certain amount of their token, like a Brave. They call it a bat. You get like a small amount for viewing that advertisement. You're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you can close it out or whatever, or use it. And then you can take that token, and then you can actually pay content creators with that token. So say you really like this person's YouTube channel, you can be like, oh, cool. Well, I watch it a lot. Here, I'm going to tip them with some bat. I'm going to give them like 10 tokens if they accept it. Obviously, you have to put your website on there. But like that, to me, that's like the most exciting thing, is that like you have this ecosystem that's fed by people using it. So imagine if you go onto Facebook, you know, they don't show you any ads, but then you can pop up and it can be like, oh, cool, I'll view a few ads, make some money, and then I can tip like my favorite people on there. And then you can put money in and like tip people, or people can say like, hey, you want to support this channel, it costs like 2 BAT or something, or have subscription models. But to me, it's like, oh yeah, that's what we really need to move towards, is our attention. We're paid for our attention. And then for the amount that we use the networks, we actually pay for that as well, but get paid to use it. So
Wow.
yeah. The only issue I have with Brave browser right now is I can't figure out how to like export my BAT. They're using like Uphold or something.
Oh yeah, you got to get verified on Uphold, which takes forever.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I think Uphold, I don't know. It seems like everyone's complaining about Uphold right now.
Yeah, they're effed. But Brave is dope. It's got a built-in VPN too, and
Wow.
it's like I wanted to put you on to Brave, Mike, because it's like one again, just like you downloaded MetaMask, you got hopefully some Ethereum coming your way soon, if not already, and like when you start using these apps or these browsers that are functioning on a crypto blockchain, like that's what's going to actually get you to understand it, like the way that Mike Wu understands things. Like we are snowflakes, forgive the term, but like we are snowflakes in how we learn and how we imagine things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the cool thing about Brave browser is that it's built on Chromium. So it acts in all other ways besides the ones that I kind of just described. It acts just like Chrome. So all of the extension, same functionality, it's just like Chrome, which seems to be, besides that one, and Firefox seems to be the most liked and most used browser. Like it's like a no-brainer to me.
On YouTube, 0 ads on your YouTube streams.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the choice. It is superior to Google, and it doesn't sell any of your information. I mean, it's like,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just downloaded it.
You got Brave?
Yeah, I got Brave, and also got your 0.02 Ethereum. Thank you very much.
Oh shit! Put me on blast for being a cheapo.
Hey, that's like $13. Pretty good.
Right.
Not cheap.
I don't deal with Jesse. When he says he's gonna tip you Ethereum, he only gives you like 0.2, man.
15 years from now, that's gonna be worth like a car.
Yeah, no, don't do anything with it. Just hold it.
Like, damn, can I get that 0.2 back, Mike?
Oh, we 0.02.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think when people engage with it, that's how they learn. That's certainly how I've learned. And like, I mean, like you're really passionate about Compound because like you spent the time to learn about it for a second, and you once you took that time, which nobody has time, like it's not like everybody has extra time that they want to spend learning something new, but gosh, is it valuable when you do.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that the real thing will show up when Compound has enough, like, kind of, I don't know what to say, power or enough support, so that the next time someone's like, man, I made a bunch of bad decisions in my 20s and I really want to buy a house, or I really want to buy a car, and I can't get a bank to loan me any money. I can't get anyone to loan me money. And then someone will say, well, have you tried Compound? I'll be like, oh my God. And then, yeah, or something else, like even if you don't have any problems with, your credit score, but you're just kind of like shopping around. You're like, oh, I can get a car loan from this place for this much percentage, or a car loan from this place. And someone's like, what about Compound? You can actually get it for this much percentage, and it's way more efficient. And your money is not going to support Chase, who basically created the the 2008 financial crisis. It's like, oh, to me, it's like, those are the things. It's like taking my money out of banks and a decentralized bank that just, after learning about 2008, crash, it's just like a no-brainer. I don't want to give my money, like, support the evil crooks who don't care about destroying the economy.
And that's something that, like, a lot of my friends are really political, and I think it's really important that we all play our roles and educate ourselves on our politics in this country. But gosh, do we vote with our dollar, in my opinion. So if we can get our money a little bit focused on something else out of the banking system that we currently have set up, I just think it's going to put in a lot of powerful people that deserve to be, not just like, you know, they're so and so's son and like a suitcase out of Malta just showed up, so they got into this school and now they have a Harvard education. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, let's, you know, let's actually put the smart people like in power. Like, you know, most of them aren't interested in being rich. Like Vitalik, who programmed Ethereum, has no. He could easily be like a huge billionaire. He has no interest in that. He's, you know, he's passionate about his passions. And so I think like empowering those people, I think we're going to have a lot more of a interesting reality to exist in. Just like as we move forward, we have this choice as we're coming into 2021 here.
Oh, totally.
But I think it requires teaching one another and holding space to be patient, and, you know, like taking baby steps. Like, okay, Mike, yes, write down your seed phrase. You know, that's really important. And, you know, like those little things, like it might be a joke on this call, but like you'll see people will be like, is this important, Mike? Like they're going to start asking you because now you hold crypto, and, you know, you're part of 1% of people that, whatever it is, maybe 2% of people that hold crypto right now on planet Earth.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the same thing for like regular stuff. Like I remember getting, you know, they have to walk how you get your first loan or whatever, or walk you through like, yeah, you know, the banks, and it's like it's not embarrassing, I don't think, to have to ask those kinds of questions, because when I had to learn all of this shit, like they don't teach you it in school. They really should just take everybody down to the bank or like whatever. Here's how you set up a bank account. Here's how you apply for a loan. Like they kind of describe it, but it's like in general, the average person, I don't think, really has a grasp on how finances or how to manage just your personal finances. You know, like I think I heard in a podcast earlier today, they were like, the first time anyone really starts to learn about finances is like in college when they take out a credit card and stuff, and then they realize they have debt because it's like, oh, wait, 25% APY, or, you know, like, what does that mean? Oh, that means, you know, and then you start realizing how fucking screwed you are on credit card debt. And it's like, that's the exact story that happened to me. It was like, I didn't learn about any of this, didn't know anything about it until I was like, oh, I have like $2,000 in credit card debt. How did that happen? Oh, I didn't pay off that balance that month. And then it just kept accruing. And then all of a sudden I'm fucked, you know, and so that's how I had to learn it all. But I think it's important that we really do support each other and go, like, especially in something like crypto, where it's like your advice there, Jesse, is so important. Like, you know, just as a mantra, if you don't understand the coin and cannot explain it to somebody, it's probably not worth it to invest in it, you know, because I think that's one of the scariest things and reasons why people don't get into crypto, is because we've all heard someone got ripped off. There's a Ponzi scheme, or a bunch of people got, you know, tricked, and, you know, all their money got stolen, or these crazy ICOs and stuff. And so it makes you just kind of like, same with the stock market. You're like, I don't want to get screwed over. But I think what you're saying here is that there is hope, and there are trustworthy companies that you can get into this, and you don't have to invest your whole life into learning about crypto, but there is a space for you to put your money and actually see gains over time and not get screwed over, you know, and even play a little bit. But it's just like, you know, follow the rules. Don't throw your money at something just because a hot tip on Reddit, you know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think a lot of people they think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general is more volatile than it really is, and I think also I mean, it's fairly new. When did cryptocurrency begin? What, like 2012 or 20 before that or something?
2008.
2008. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, but I think most people don't really. It's still like a new techie thing to most people. So yeah, I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah, I think our goal with this channel is to try to open up crypto and blockchain and things like it to more of the kind of, you know, holistic and artistic communities, you know, people who are into meditation or yoga, or people who are into like making art. Because I think that's to me, that's it's the realization of what a lot, like what you were saying earlier, Jesse, like we have so many like activist friends, and it's like, do you have any Bitcoin? Do you have any crypto? And they're like, no. It's like, okay, so you're going to complain about the market and be a
Right.
total Marxist. And it's like, and yet the thing that has the most potential to completely destroy the economic system and put something in place that might be better, you have no interest in learning about. You just want to bitch about it. It's like, and it's scary. Like, I'm moving slow, I totally get it, but I think, yeah, we need to change that perception. We need to get more people of color. We need to get more women, more, LGBTQ people in this space. Cause I think that's what's needed, especially at this juncture.
And it's literally like a light switch. Like once it clicks for you about how significant this is, I can't tell you, it just all of a sudden you become this evangelical Bitcoin person. Like it's not because Jesse wants you to, like, nobody, I'm literally like, this is going to set our planet free from the way we've been functioning. But like, that's, those are the types of movements that like call me to action and get me to be really vocal and want to go on Facebook Live and talk about it. Cause it's like, yeah, Biden won, great. But like, who gives a fuck? The same people that, like, sponsored the Clintons sponsored him. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, this shit is about money on this planet, son, unfortunately. But we want to raise that vibration, to the next chakra and like bring it higher up. Like we have to graduate from just being about scarcity mindset, all focused on money. And we want to raise the vibration, to bring in, and with that comes like equality. It comes like, gender expression, sexual expression, artist expression, and musical expressions that like we haven't even yet like manifested yet. Like, like we're on the ground level of what's capable on a planet, and like we're bugging out. Like, oh my gosh, this person wants to change their gender. Like, literally, the potentials are so much higher than that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, and I think there too, it's like the exciting thing for me is it's like it's beyond the currency. I don't think it's out of the realm to say, like, it's crazy to say that blockchain technology could be the way we vote, maybe in a decade. I'm just going to say, maybe a random year, but like the technology can make it so that all this bullshit this year about like the election fraud and stuff, that could just be a complete thing of the past. Like, you remember how people used to argue about whether an election was legit or not? People used to be able to trick elections. It's like, no, you can't. Like blockchain, I think there's been like maybe one fork or something, but it has never been hacked as far as I know. Like no one has ever successfully hacked Bitcoin and like made like counterfeited Bitcoin, because the way it's built, you can't do it. Like there's trust and gossip, so everyone's watching. You can imagine like voting and using a similar kind of protocol where it's like no one can fake a vote. Like there's only each person gets one vote or whatever, however the system is.
Just to be clear, you can hack blockchains. It has happened. It hasn't happened to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I don't think would be able to at this point, but some of the newer blockchains, they do come out by newer developers and they do get hacked.
Okay, yeah. So it's not that blockchain overall is an unhackable technology, but a specific use case, right?
Yeah, and then, well, especially like when something starts functioning as long as Bitcoin, like now to hack that code is like, nobody has time for that. It's a lifetime.
Probably longer, huh?
It probably longer. It's not worth it. Like, but somebody has like a new asset that's got nearly $1 billion in it. Yeah, let's try to fucking hack that shit. It's been on testnet for 2 weeks. It's got to have bugs. And I mean, I was holding Ocean token earlier this summer, and I think I had like $2,500 in there. And for a few weeks, I was like, that shit just got hacked. Like that was just gone, and it's still gone. So they had to like update their whole blockchain, and they credited everybody back, and then even more actually for having it be an inconvenience. But still, it's like it does happen. This is the internet. Security is number one. Privacy is number two. And I think like those are two really good assets just to have as like human beings. Like you want to feel safe, and you want to feel like that you can exist how you want to exist when you want to exist. Like I think those are human rights that should be passed along. And I hold them really, really like as core values.
Would
Yeah.
you say that they were hacked because there's not enough like nodes in the network?
That and like when people are running like testnet and stuff,
Uh-huh.
like kind of like it's like imagine something coming out on beta.
Mhm.
They have to run testnet just to like see how the thing is functioning. But a lot of times there's holes and there's like back doors that are left open, whether it's intentionally or not. It's like, dude, I don't know what person was pissed off that this guy used to develop for and now his wife's with this guy. I mean, people do the craziest shit to hack people, dude. Sometimes it's like this literally is like you slept with my ex-wife. It's like yeah, it's stupid. We're all just monkeys with clothes on.
Yeah. But I can imagine, creating a system in the future, obviously, like, yeah, regardless of, obviously there are blockchains that come out, but there could be a system of just voting where it's like, if it's working the way that I guess it should, just the whole model of blockchain seems like really robust in preventing people from hacking it. If it's set up correctly and if all of the protocols of it, it seems like, voting on blockchain could be something that would be unhackable, because there's just, in order for you to get in there, you have to convince enough people that like to trust in the whatever the transactions that you're making. It's like, oh no, you actually voted for this, or this person actually voted for that one. You have to convince enough members in the network to believe you that it's just too difficult.
But I mean, I mean, you're 100% right. Yes, I agree. We should be voting on a blockchain system. But the thing is, they don't want us to because they still want to be able to change the election just in case. Like, there's
Oh
a
yeah.
reason why the US dollar isn't on a blockchain. Like, because we got to get all this extra money in or out the door while we still can, Just
Yeah.
like this election, too, is like, did it go a certain way? I don't know. Did it go the way Wall Street wanted it to go? Certainly. Like 100.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mike, what are we missing for people that are tuning in? You're crypto noob, you got your wallet. What, like,
Well,
give me some basic questions that you're like, why is this important? Or
I mean, I'm not sure this is a good question, but so would you guys see like in 30 years, like let's say I'm just walking around and have my mobile device or something. I go in to buy like a snack at a convenience store. I'll just be like, hey, here's like 0.00001 Bitcoin or something, and then just send it over, and then I'd get like a good. Like, do you see it like as a widely used currency that will replace conventional currencies in like the next generation or even before? Like on a convenient day-to-day use, or is it more like a holding, like not holding, but it's more of like a place for bigger trades and bigger financial moves or something like that?
super good question. I think with what we're going through with COVID-19, we're going to see less and less places accepting cash, maybe the end of cash by 2023. And what I do think is, I don't think you're ever going to go to a gas station and say, I want a candy bar, here's some Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is Bitcoin or blockchain as the technology is going to really start to play a role in our culture. And even the US dollars that we get paid in will at least be blockchain. They'll be tokenized to the point where they're traceable and they're in a closed loop system. And it's like, you can't just print more money, which is what's happening now. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, maybe even in a couple of years from now, you'll go to that same gas station and you want a Twix bar. You can't even pay in cash anymore. You can scan a QR code and you can say, hey, I've got this coin, I've got US dollar coin, I've got Ethereum and Litecoin. I'm going to pay with my Litecoin today. So it may not necessarily be Bitcoin that gets it, but there will be a coin or token that replaces the US dollar within the next year or two, in my opinion.
And I think there's also something, and I'd like to hear maybe if you your perspective on this, Jesse. I was just learning about Band, I think it's called, um, and that one is a coin that's designed to facilitate quick transfers of money. So basically, their idea is that you would use this. Say you want to send money to someone who lives in like the Philippines or something, like in order to do something like that, you have to first convert your money into like like you have to use an international wire. And so you would send it to like New York, and then they would send it and convert it to pounds, and then they would send it and convert it to UN or something like that, and then finally convert it into um, whatever the Philippine currency is. And all of that charges fees. And so I guess Band, what it would do is it instantaneously would just change it, convert it. You would convert your dollars into their currency, to their coin, send it to whoever, and then they would exchange it out. And the cost would be like less than a penny. And they said they can do this in like, under 5 minutes. So the idea is that you may not even need to switch it into a currency. You can just have Bitcoin, all your is in a Bitcoin wallet, and you're like, cool, I'm going to send it to Band and convert it to US dollars. And then here, buy this. And I think they're a pretty new coin, and they're still sort of speculative. I think they just got on Coinbase. So, probably in a year or two, depending on how that goes, there are other solutions besides what you're saying, that might be even faster. So you can isn't that what you do already, sort of, Jesse?
As far as what does the fund do?
Well, I was just thinking, because you basically don't have any like dollars sitting around. You have Bitcoin, and then you use the PayPal card, you said, and then it just converts it automatically into dollars, and so you basically pay. Right? Or did I misunderstand the question?
No. I'm just there's a couple layers in there, because first you're talking about Band, right?
Yeah, I thought it was Band. Isn't that
Yeah,
what they're
Band
called?
protocol. You're right. It
Yeah.
is listed on Coinbase. I don't know that much about it, but like as far as moving, like let's say your family lives in India and you're in the States and you want to
Mhm.
send $3,000 every month. I mean, crypto is a great way to do that. Whether it's through Band, I don't know enough to speak on it, but it might be a great way to do it with really low fees, which would be great and as powerful. That takes, I mean, there's things like MoneyGram, and people have been sending money back home or overseas like for forever, as long as this country's been in existence. But doing it with minimal fees, I think, and instantly is huge. And crypto definitely holds the door open for that. um yeah, I mean, as far as like the second part of the question is like, right, so I don't hold or like have that much interest in US dollars anymore. I mean, I still need them. I need them to function every day. This is the economy that we live in. But my goal is to usually take those and try to put them into what's called Satoshis or into Bitcoin. I want to grow my Bitcoin stack more than my US dollar stack at this point, because I've like weighed the scales and seen like in what my opinion is the dollar going down and Bitcoin going up, continuing to go up. But yeah, so I mean, in doing that, like I do have a diverse portfolio, and I also have the experience of being in the space for 5 or 6 years. So when I do want to go to the store or I do want to pay my rent, like I paid rent yesterday, and we had a really good day in the fund with BNT getting listed on Coinbase. I was happy to cash out my gains with BNT and pay rent in cash. And you can literally do all of that with PayPal, with a debit card that comes with your PayPal account. That's free. There's also BitPay. I have a BitPay card. BitPay is also great. It's really easy to take your crypto and spend it in a store on a debit card at any point. So if your Bitcoin's going crazy and you're like, I want to go on a shopping spree, it's easy to just transfer it through BitPay or PayPal. They're both set up for it at this point. But again, none of this is supposed to be like financial guidance or advice. I do want it to be like a open, long conversation format for people to like ask questions, because I get asked questions about crypto a lot, and I do think it's been it's been the biggest player in setting myself financially free as a millennial, for sure. So I'm happy to talk about it, but I just also realized I'm really not that good at explaining things. So the best thing I can do is like encourage you guys to use BAT, get on Coinbase, download MetaMask, start interacting with a cryptocurrency wallet. What does that look like? What can I do with this? So Mike, I mean, you're my noob here.
Mm-hmm.
Bring us back down. Are you hitting the vape pen because we started on 420?
Well,
That's
I
why I
don't
want to hire this guy. I love this guy.
I don't have a pen with me, but I have a little one hitter.
Truth comes out.
Yes.
Oh shit. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. All
Only
those
trade
dudes just
sober.
do drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I'm still fairly new to all this, so I can't say I really got a lot of that about but it does sound interesting for sure. And yeah.
Or I guess what I was thinking, and maybe I went a little long-winded on it, but I was thinking that like, yeah, I kind of agree with Jesse that you probably won't ever the gas station is accepting Bitcoin, but it'll probably be it won't need to. Either the dollar will be sort of tokenized, or you'll be able to so easily and quickly convert whatever cryptocurrency you have into dollars or whatever, that it won't even matter. Like you can have all your money in crypto and then just convert it to dollars whenever you need to buy gas.
Gotcha. So it's like it's not cryptocurrency isn't going to replace conventional currency completely in any sense, but it's going to be like a more honest or more a more democratic or some kind of evaluation of the economy or something like that, or personal finances.
I think it could replace regular currency. I think like probably if our government is smart, what they will do is exactly what Jesse said. They'll turn the dollar into a cryptocurrency. And I just
why they did not do that yet, because there's so much room for error right now that they can manipulate things. I mean,
yeah.
But government's already doing it.
There's a huge chunk of people like calling out our U.S. government saying, hey, the money that we're using is whack. Like, it's not legit. You can look at that U.S. $100 bill. It's printed all blue and looks nice. That is literally just a piece of paper that you agreed to. This is a computer program that's like thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of other people are saying, hey, I'm authenticating this. That can never happen when you use a US dollar. It's built on lies. Mm-hmm. It's like intentionally built on lies. That's what central banks do.
Yeah, it's fiat.
So like, I hate to keep coming back to like the Federal Reserve, but like that is, gosh, that's just like such a big, if you can like really grab a dollar bill, Mike, and like look at Federal Reserve, like federal, that is just like the name of their company. It has nothing to do with our federal government whatsoever.
It really should be taught in schools how all of that shit happened. Like it's so shady. Yeah. Like it's so shady how the Federal Reserve got made. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, when they came to this country, no central banks was part of it, and it just got slid in there. And
on big Christmas
reason why, a big part of the reason why Hitler got any like rise to power was because Germany was in such a disarray after World War I, and they had nothing. Like they had no fucking nothing. Their country was destroyed. So it's like they let a central bank come in and say, hey, we'll help rebuild you. Hitler's point was like, fuck the central bank. Everything else that got built up around his ideology and things against, anti-Semitism, like there's a lot of things in there that were piled onto this dude's vision. That was like, this dude is talking a lot about disrupting the financial culture of this country. It's getting people fired up. It got their whole country fired up about him, but then they piled on, X, Y, and Z. And
But yeah, they thought a lot of that was Jewish conspiracy or something.
Well, I mean, the people that instilled the central bank, they happen to be of Jewish descent. Does that mean that people that practice that religion or ideology are evil? No, no. But that's like saying, okay, this person was, like a Aryan race person. Does that mean that like every single person with blonde hair and blue eye is like inherently evil? Like, I don't think so.
No, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. So like, I took econ classes in high school. It was like optional, and then I took some econ. I was doing a minor in econ in college actually, and yes, the stuff they say about the Federal Reserve is very interesting. It's like they never like go into the history of how it came up. It doesn't go into like any of the specifics. All I really remember is like, oh, the president like appoints or recommends somebody that aligns with their party ideology, and then they have to be like confirmed, I think, by I forget who, maybe the Senate or something. Not the Senate, somebody else. But and then like the whole thing is like, oh, they have to keep printing money because you have to keep inflation at a like 2% is what the government says is the optimal amount of inflation. Right now, that's the Fed target, 2% each year of inflation. And the whole thing is like, oh, because we need inflation, we need to keep printing money, or else people aren't going to. It basically it spurs people to consume more.
Mm-hmm.
Because if every year the value of your dollar is going down a little bit, you're not going to want to hoard money. You're going to want to spend it to get concrete goods. So it's like an artificial. It's a they print money artificially, so they can decrease the value of the dollar. So then consumers can consume more, and then we can drive up production and drive up GDP of products to satisfy the increase in consumption or demand. But like that's totally just I mean, first of all, I don't agree with consumerism flat out. So I think that's silly. But also, it's very, we're not taught about this stuff. And the history is very shady from what I've gathered. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So I definitely think Bitcoin is, or not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency or blockchain, yeah, definitely could really make things a lot better. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Like people who are new to this, like me, I think a lot of terms get not used interchangeably, but they're related. And I think people get confused a lot, like me. So there's Bitcoin, which is a type of one kind of cryptocurrency. And then blockchain is the technology, right, that's implemented in the mining or the trading or the, possession of cryptocurrencies. Is that right? Is that kind of like the gist of it? Okay. Yeah, I want to bring up that point because I think people, they get lost in the terms without, they don't have a real clear definition of what they are. It's a big thing, I think, if we want to get more people into it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how you could
right
better
there.
describe
Mike
it.
Wu just stole the show, I think.
There's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
you
super
obviously
important.
have an awareness of the financial the financial silliness of the Federal Reserve. Then, Mike, like you broke it down pretty clearly that it's not taught and that inflation is encouraged because it promotes
Consumption. Yeah. Demand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or spending. People just it's like, well, we have to spend more money. That's how we get richer. Like that's how we evaluate richness and wealth is in a country is by the GDP or how much shit you produce. But like a lot of that's not going to good uses, so it's silly.
Yeah, I think it's important also too with like what you were saying and clarifying, like Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto. I don't know exactly what I call it yet, but like lately I've been kind of leaning away from calling it all blockchain because there's one that seems really promising. It's called Hashgraph, which is actually not blockchain, but it's a similar kind of. I think it's like I'm trying to think of how I would describe blockchain because I don't think it's the code, but it's like the algorithm that keeps everything. It's what gives it trust. It's so that you can trust that my Bitcoin is legit is because of the blockchain. It's because Jesse's keeping track of the ledger someone in Singapore, someone in China is keeping track of the ledger. So because of all that, that's blockchain. But it's possible that new technologies that aren't technically blockchain could eventually take over, but it would still be essentially, I think, so that's kind of why I focus it on crypto, because I think it's using cryptology to create trust. So using some sort of code or algorithm to create trust in the system out that is decentralized. So you don't have a person who creates the trust.
Yeah, like a bank or an institution or something.
Exactly.
And like too, like blockchain might be something that gets phased out or whatever. Like we are just in the infancy stages where it's like we're putting people like you, it's putting it in your hands on a phone call like this. Like just wait until you tell all the people in your network, Mike, like including computer programs that you already know, like they might be working on stuff that's beyond blockchain in the future, but like all of these technologies, like they serve as like they're just like gates. Like we're just holding the next gate open for the next wave to come in and say, hey, look, I made fucking Jimi Hendrix music. And it's like somebody had to hold open a gate for that to occur. So like this gate's being opened, we're going to see what comes of it, then we're going to find a problem and go to the next gate.
So blockchain is like a type of like a waiver. It's like it's not a company, it's not like a specific product, it's like a technology, right? So it's like
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not okay. Cool. And the more people, the more people that are tuned into this paradigm, the better it'll be for everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's a key point.
Yeah, I mean, even if I can just say, like, you won't have ads on YouTube if you use browser. That's a blockchain built browser. I mean, like, even if you don't want to buy Bitcoin or you have no money for anything to do with your finance, fuck that. But at least you don't have ads on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Or at least if you want to watch them, you'll get paid to watch them.
Yeah. And people aren't stealing or companies aren't stealing your information. So
yeah, and then like regurgitating it back to you on Instagram, so you spend all the money that you worked really hard to get in the first place.
Won't see Zuckerberg in court anymore.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. I know they're trying to break him up, I think, right now, because he's got
there's antitrust. I think Google just got slapped with one too.
Wow. Nice.
Good.
Interesting. I'm surprised, actually.
Google?
Why are you surprised?
No, I'm surprised that like the government is like taking actions to break them up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see your point.
I'm wondering if those came under Trump policies or if it's, I mean, they have to have come under Trump policies. He hates like anybody that's that big of a fish in the game because it makes him look small. But it's like that's whale games for you. It's like some shit that most of us can't relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just surprised. Like, I'm surprised the government took initiative, or maybe not. Like, because I know like most people like they really right now they wouldn't really care too much. Like if Google or Facebook were a real monopoly, I'm not sure. I think the average person just wouldn't really. They wouldn't go to the streets, or they wouldn't vote maybe based on that to break them up. But I'm glad to see that it's happening possibly from the government, from a top down. What I'm saying is from like a top down reform thing is very interesting and very rare, I think, a lot of the time.
I mean, it's going to be really interesting. It's Zuckerberg's baby. He invented some tech that like has a lot of people freaked out. It's like you can't take that away from the guy. So how's everybody feeling? We've been blasting for like 2 hours solid now.
Oh shit.
I mean, I've been popping bottles all weekend. I can keep popping them here and stay on, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I probably got to get back to packing, but.
Oh, cool. I gotta go eat dinner with my family, but I can
Let's,
stay for like 5 minutes. What
no,
was it?
let's call it a wrap. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. I learned a lot. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Oh, also, I want to ask you guys real quick. Like, I found,
Fuck the dollar. You made 0.2 ETH.
yes, I made point two ETH, baby. Uh, I found like some like videos online and stuff about like, like intro to Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and stuff. I'm wondering if you guys like know any, either watch those or know any good videos, or like there's even like lectures on here of like people who look like they're qualified, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys know anything about
Why
that.
can you send them in the chat, and then we'll put them in the description for sure.
Word. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Hey man, it was an absolute pleasure, Mike. I know you're going to be on another episode soon because Bitcoin's going to keep going nuts. You're going to be my
Sweet.
finance guy that knows nothing. I love it.
Sweet. Yeah, man. Good to see you guys.
For
You
sure.
too, man. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Peace.
Take it easy.